Yo, what's good? It's a Crazy Ride Show with Lake County Media. I'm here with some very, very special guests, ladies and gentlemen. The group that everybody's been seeing. You've been seeing us, but tonight you get to meet us. Lake County Media is in the building right now. I'm clapping it up for them right now. Clap it up. Lake County Media. We got Robin E in the house today. We got Big Drew in the house. We got Alyssa Pimentel in the house, and we got Brandon Ewing in the building. And as a collective, we are the Lake County Media. Crazy kind of journey how we got here. Brandon, if you could start us off, kick us off. You kind of the, matriarch. It's a bad word, but it's more for a female. But it's a great.
It's another word.
Matriarch.
Okay.
But it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
No.
You started this thing, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, just super excited. Really been watching everybody's evolution. Love Lake County, love what we do. A few years ago, got to know you through working together on Real Talk Live with Brandon Ewing.
Sure.
That was our first attempt at collaborating through Millennials Connected. Got to know tons of other people and just really saw a void, right? People want to treat Lake County like it is North Chicago or South Milwaukee in this Lake County, right? And so what I want to do is create a place where everybody in Lake County, right, white, black, other, east, west side, has somewhere to go for information that matters to them, that can impact them. And so know all that you all do. So it's like, hey, what if we did this together? Because I think too many times we try and do stuff on our own. And I always go, we're better together. It's a huge county. This is just a start. I expect us to grow. And so I'm excited.
Absolutely. Robin E., you have a very diverse background in media and college degrees and everything. You did it, girl. Yeah. Entering in this, what is it? Well, outside of this, coming into it, what does it look like? So I want to hear, before you got into Lake County Media, and then now you're in Lake County Media, what does it look like for a Pillow Talk podcast?
Before I did it, I was definitely taking a break, trying to rebrand and, get Pillow Talk together. Brandon came to me basically trying to see where I was at because, I'm a busy person and he wanted me to be a part of the team. And I was like, this is a great opportunity. Once I knew everybody that was involved, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. Now, I think it's more so just about expanding. This is opportunity for me to get in a different realm, interviewing politicians and mayors and people of a different substance. Is completely different from Pillow Talk, which mostly focuses on mainstream artists. So this, for me, I feel is like a step up in my interviewing and journalism. So I'm excited for that.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Big Drew,
How's it going?
I'm trying to make it, brother. You have a very diverse space. You've done a lot of things in a lot of different spaces, secular.
This is true.
Coming into now moving into more of a spiritual space. How do you collaborate with those things and in Lake County Media? What does that look like?
Well, for Lake County Media, just looks like food, food everything.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about all of the Lake County hot spots, but I want to focus on some of the little people, right? The people that are just starting out, the people that are getting on their journey, hidden gems, places that you may have been that's really, really good, but it doesn't get the traction that a lot of the big major names get. So we want to highlight some restaurants in the community, some chefs in the community, caterers in the community, and just let everybody know if you want to eat, this is where you can go.
Absolutely. That's trailblazing.
Yes.
Speaking of trailblazing, Alyssa, you are a millennial blazing the world in a space that a lot of people your age are getting into, which is real estate, a residential, commercial. I'm saying a lot of people in that space. How did you bring that? How are you going to bring that to Lake County Media?
Well, kind of just telling people how to be a resident of Lake County. So a lot of people don't know how. And so I want to be the person that's going to educate them and get them to where they want to be here. And I'm really excited about that.
Nice. That's pretty cool. The collaboration of all these four different mentalities that you had the opportunity to kind of push together, hodgepodge it all together. What was some of your inspiration to actually do it? I know that this wasn't a easy thing to do. You thought about it, but executing was probably harder.
No,
getting all us on the same page.
getting everybody on the same
Yeah,
page,
yeah.
and that's really the whole thing. Is I don't want to take anybody's identity, so making sure that we have a diverse group of individuals. And so I know with what you do and have done, the success that you've had with the Crazy Riot Show. Again, not trying to take that away. That's still going to be its thing. But now we want to do something a little bit different. We want to elevate it. We want to move off of Facebook and go to these other places, TikTok, because it's crazy that 80% or something like that statistic is of Gen Z get their information from TikTok. So if you're just on Facebook, if you're just on YouTube, if you're just old school media, newspaper print, you're missing an entire generation. So when I knew what Big Drew was trying to do with Big Drew's food reviews, we have so many dope restaurant spots, so many people who can cook. And we want to give them that platform to be able to showcase. And again, if you are in Grays Lake, I want to know what's hot in Grays Lake. If you're in North Chicago, I want to know what's dope in North Chicago. If you're in Highwood, hey, it's tons of restaurants, but they may not be getting all of the traction that they could. And so that's what we want to do. Like Robin, what she talked about, being able to love her interview style, love the curiosity in which she approaches her interviews. And so being able to get her to interact with people who she hasn't had the opportunity to really interview yet. But then, and then Alyssa, right? Alyssa sold me my house, full transparency.
Oh, nice.
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because trust her, seeing what she's doing, and it's not just people who have a lot of money. It's those millennials, other young folks who may not have had the information. And I love the fact that she always wants to educate her buyers as well as her sellers. And so being able to bring her to the team, being able to reach another demographic, and being able to get her knowledge and expertise, I just thought that was dope, right?
Nice.
And so we have over 20 other show ideas in the works, but I think this is a good base to start with.
Nice. Drew, we coming from where we come from, we know that there's challenges with stuff that we try to do. Such a small space, but it's such a big space at the same time. What's some of the challenges that you know that you've had coming through the media space as being a personality? You host a lot of shows. What's some challenges you faced?
I would say like one of the biggest challenges I had was knowledge, really knowing what to do, how to do things. You know, I always hit you up when I see certain things. I'm like, hey, what's this? What's this? You know, and sometimes not having though, because everybody doesn't have somebody that's already been to where they're trying to go to reach out to. And I think when we're in these local places, you got a bunch of people that are trying to do everything, but it's like nobody wants to help each other sometimes, and then you don't have access to people that know or have the knowledge. So it can stagnate you, or it can cause you to go down a longer path of error, trials, and all of those type of things, when if you had somebody, it could be a little easier for you to do what you want to do.
Definitely. Robin, you have a industry background in a sense. You've worked with a lot of independent artists in a lot of different spaces, in a lot of different states and everything. What's some of the challenges you felt going through that journey of being a female too? On top of that, people maybe not looking at you, maybe not respecting you because you're a female, maybe, I don't know. But we know that's common. What's some of the things that you dealt with?
Yeah, I mean, definitely being a female, building credibility. I think it's the hardest part. You know, a lot of people just see me right now and don't know that this is like year 5 for me. So the first 3 years, I was literally doing so many things for free and discounted and just being places so that I could build the credibility. And then once you get the credibility, you got to own it. And you have to make sure you go in these places and let them know you know what you're doing. So that has always been the hardest part for me, even now, having to deal with being humble, but also reminding people like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this. But also allowing for that new space of people to come in as well. You know, podcasting is like a fad right now.
Sure.
You know, but I was doing it during COVID. So it's just like, I'm not going to discredit the new people that are coming in, but being a woman, owning my credibility, remaining humble, it's just a lot to juggle, definitely.
Absolutely. Alyssa, Brandon mentioned you sold him his house. I'm not sure if you had a podcast then, maybe not.
No, I didn't. No, I was just educating.
Yeah. So how was that? What made you want to jump into like publicly giving people the information that you have and sharing it, and then also helping people that way?
The fact that we weren't being serviced, really. The fact that that information wasn't out there, that people were getting it from TikTok and it applied to a completely other state. So I was like, who better than me, right, to give that information? And I feel like I give off a trustworthy vibe. You don't have to worry, you know, I look like everybody else, so you don't have to worry about, is she really coming from a good place? So that's what made me want to do it. The fact that really nobody at that time was really taking the time to do the videos and educate people.
Yes. How hard is it being a real estate agent? How difficult is it?
It's very difficult. The actual success percentage, I think, of a real estate agent to stay in the industry after 3 years is 8%.
Wow.
And so it costs a lot of money to do it. It costs a lot of time. You do not get paid unless you actually close the deal. But it's beautiful. I love it. And I've trained 6 agents to do it, and they're all, $1 million producers. So,
dope.
yeah.
I mean, it talk that talk. Like we talked about credibility. I think some of the successes that you've had is why I thought you'd be great to do this podcast. So talk about maybe building your team.
Yeah, so kind of like Robin said, being a woman in this industry, being a Latina woman, being a minority in this industry, which is predominantly, to be honest with you, Caucasian women and Caucasian men. So me coming into this, I did get a lot of backlash from people. I did get people like, who does she think she is? And so it kind of made me be hungrier. And I was like, well, I got to be smarter than everybody else. I can't just look, cute and show up and open a door and take a nice photo with me on my phone. I gotta be smarter than everybody else in the room. And if I'm not, I'm gonna go to a new room. So with that, I decided that because I had done so well, like Brandon was talking about, I sold a lot of houses, built my credibility, and then I figured, well, why not build a team, help other agents get into it. And it's been beautiful. I love it. I love it a lot. But every day is a fight to stay in the game. Even today at a meeting, this lady, she was just like, so where do you get your business from? How do you buy your leads? And it's like, I don't. I'm just me. Like God has just blessed me to be good with people and educate people, and people love that. So
That's dope.
Yeah.
If you guys could describe the connection that you want to have with your audience, connection you already have with your audience, how would you describe that? If you could describe it in one word, I'll limit you there. In a more creative way, how would you do that? How would you describe it? That connection that you have to the audience. What do you want that to be? How do you want it to be?
You been put it at one word.
Yeah, give me one word. I'm challenging you here.
Truth.
Nice.
Imagination.
Trustworthiness.
Nice. Brandon, I'll challenge
I
you.
got a show.
I know. You connect with people though, so.
Integrity, right?
Yeah.
Nice. So how do you guys do that? Because I do my stuff crazy, wild, sometimes loud, sometimes over the top, and sometimes that's fickle. Sometimes that doesn't stick. Sometimes I go more soul and deep, and sometimes that sticks, sometimes it doesn't. How do you guys translate that trustworthiness, truth, imagination? How do you convey that over to your audience?
I mean, when you're talking about food, I have 42 years of experience of eating. 42 years of eating food. Thank you. Thank you. My stomach right here. You see what I'm saying? This thing right here tells you I have to know something about some food. Okay? I gotta know something. Okay? So when you see me, you eating, I'm missing 2 side teeth. You don't miss 2 side teeth from not eating. You understand what I'm saying? So this shows you that you can trust this big guy, that if he's going somewhere to eat, it's probably decent.
Yes, sir.
And I do trust you.
Yeah,
right.
I
You
can't
know.
wait to
We
see
done ate
you
a
guys.
few
I done called my sis like, hey, I'm up here. Come ride with me, G. Come on. Yeah.
That's
Robin.
Imagination. I mean, for me, I think it's just about creating a safe space of vulnerability, which allows them to feel more comfortable to have imagination. Sometimes you need somebody to tell you something so you don't think you're crazy. So a lot of the time, people just want someone to listen. So being able to listen to people, get their ideas off, I think will open that world of imagination.
Yeah.
Still.
For me, trustworthiness is just having a really good reputation, having people see that reputation, getting the referrals from people, but also being completely transparent with somebody who might think something can happen in a timeline that it can't, or education for me is everything. That should have been my word, is education. But honestly, for me with the client or with a friend, it's trustworthiness, knowing that, oh, her track record is good. I can trust her to get this done, and she won't do me bogus, like real estate agents are portrayed. They're portrayed as car salesmen sometimes.
Yeah. If you guys, in this journey, if you could think of the first story that it's a memorable story of your either podcasting, something you've told a story on your podcast, something that kind of gives us the personality of what's happening on your show. Tell me the most memorable story on your show.
Why you look at me first?
I felt like you had a memory.
Like that.
No, go ahead, Drew. You got a memory? I gotta think for a
I would
second.
say C&J's.
Okay.
When C&J's opened, actually, Ishia was making the cupcakes. and I ate one of the cupcakes while on live.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is when I first started going live. We were trying to figure out how live even works.
Yeah, yeah.
And I got the cupcake. I'm like, I'm just gonna go live and eat it. And I just went live and like, boop, 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 boop. The numbers just started hitting, right?
Yeah.
And so Papa Black hit me like, hey man, I need you to you gotta come, man. We about to open up this restaurant over here in Zion, man. I want you to come on over here and do it. So I went live, and man, I probably had like 4,000 views in no time. You know, like these are some of my highest numbers. Like in the beginning, I'm like, man, so it did really good. A lot of people just started coming and flooding the restaurant. Like, I saw you guys on Facebook.
Nice.
So that's when I was like, man, there's like a little bit of power to this, and I like doing this, right? Because this is a really good restaurant, and it's a restaurant that's just starting, and I'm able to help them in their growth. I'm able to open the door where they can say, hey, all of these people are able to come to this restaurant because I just clicked go live.
Yeah.
And that's when, Drew talked about being trustworthy, right? I think even with the businesses is we saw on social media this week the power of social media to celebrate a business or to denigrate a business and tear it down. And so when you said trust, it's we want those that are coming on the platform to understand that our goal is to elevate. It's never to hurt. It's never to harm. It is to be honest, but there's a way to do that in a way that you don't have to tear down somebody's dream, right? And so, and that C&J story is a dope one.
It's a dope
Right?
story. It's a dope story. Alyssa, I go to Alyssa.
You want me to tell a story about what?
Any story? So something that you can share with
Mine's a
your
little different.
something you can share with your customer base or even your fan base on your show about a crazy encounter you had with somebody you sold a house to.
Man, I almost got
anything.
kidnapped one time.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I almost got kidnapped one time. Somebody, I don't know if that's the kind of story y'all want.
No, you're already there.
And I had pigtails on that day.
Oh, you was a target.
I was a big target. I don't know why I did that. That was so. But anyways, I was at this house and I was going to lock up. And as a real estate agent, somebody can call the office and say, hey, I'm wanting to get a hold of Alyssa. And sometimes they shouldn't do this, but sometimes the office will say, oh, I see she's showing XYZ property. She'll call you back after she's showing it. Well, I don't know exactly how it happened, or maybe I don't know if they could locate me. I don't know. But I was locking up a property. I told my clients, go ahead, I'm gonna lock up, you go to the next house. I'll meet you there. So I was having a real hard time because they teach you in school how to pass your test, but not how to, locks are hard. So I was
Use the lockbox.
the lockbox was really difficult. So I'm like kind of stressing, and I'm sitting there, and it's a nice summer day, and it was somewhere in Waukegan by Mid-Lane, which is technically Wadsworth with Gurney schools. But anyways, I'm sitting there and I'm locking up, and I feel somebody like approaching me, and this guy, he was not attractive at all. And he was very scary looking. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just letting y'all know I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go with him.
No.
But he comes out and he goes, are you Alyssa? And he's like approaching me real fast. I'm trying to lock this door and I'm like, huh? And he's like, are you this girl? And he points to a picture of me on his phone and I'm like, yes. He's like, I have a date with you. And I'm like, what? At this point, I'm like, sir, what? And he's like, yeah, we're gonna go see houses. And I'm like, no, we're not. I gotta be with my next clients. And at this point, I'm like, why did I let them leave? He goes to reach for me. And he's like, no, you have a date with me. And grabs me. I was like this. I ran. I left.
Wow.
That's just one of the crazy stories. But I mean, other than that, I've seen some crazy countertops and but yeah, I was almost kidnapped. I was.
You got your FOIA card?
Yes, I do. But I got to take it away.
Great story.
I got to take it away.
Any other platform would tell you to continue.
Right. No, you don't want to
No, we don't want to hear that. That's deep. That's deep.
That is scary.
Robin Yvette, tell me a crazy story
First off,
involving no
I'm
kidnapping.
always strapped. I don't know. Tell
Yeah, big lie.
right now.
But for me, probably would be last year I was asked to be a part of the media team for Vegandale.
Nice.
So that was my first big Chicago festival that Pillow Talk actually got as the media outlet.
Nice.
So that was a big deal for me. It's the biggest vegan festival in the world. And it was just an experience for me to be out with the people like I like to, trying food, clowning with them, being in my element, getting free stuff. Who doesn't want free stuff? And really just being able to have fun. I like to be able to have fun when I'm doing segments. There were a few moments where, I didn't like the food per se, But I let them know that, and in the most nicest way, and that didn't harm, the conversation. But Vegan Day was definitely it for me. It was great to get that type of reward, you know what I'm saying, to be permanent, or to be outreached specifically for that versus going through another channel. So that was big for me.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
supply and demand, build the
and
brand.
it's on YouTube, so y'all can check it out.
Nice.
So I got a question. Tell me how you let them down when the food wasn't good. What did you tell them?
Well, I let them know like the seasoning wasn't hidden, and then the choice of vegetable. I feel like they need to switch. Veganism, they always try to use a vegetable in place of something. You can't fry every vegetable. You can't fry it and dye it and do all these things. Yeah. So I just let them know like maybe for this you might want to not do that again.
So when we do the Big Drew food reviews on the vegan stuff, you coming with me? Because I'm not eating it.
Now, and I know we got dope stories, but like Carlos, I know for you already having an established entity, all the things that you're involved, what was one of the reasons that you decided to join Lake County Media Group?
Discipline. And me being my own boss and my own contributor to everything I do, that breeds a contingent to do whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Being 35 this year.
Wow.
35?
What's happening? Are we all in our 30s?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Robin used to be the baby.
You better say yeah.
By Don Cheeto, damn. But it was an opportunity for me to learn, for me to grow, for me, and take something I'm doing and putting it in someone else's hands. I've never been able to freely do that and trust, to use Drew's word again, trust someone to really take my career and take it to another level. You know what I mean? And I did that with you guys. So that's dope.
We love it.
I love you guys too. When a lot of, as Robin mentioned, podcasting now is pretty much a fad at this point. Get you a roadcaster and some Shure mics, and you think you got it. Being consistent is the key of this thing, I guess. But we all here are kind of technically versed in certain ways. Talk to me about the challenges of what you guys face. I know it's personal, some of these stories. Technically, what's the challenges of starting your own podcast, learning equipment, mics, cameras, lights? True Conglomerate could speak to this definitely if they was on camera, but they have a crazy setup here.
Shout out to True. Shout out to True Conglomerate.
One of the top setups I've seen in a while, a long time. Just talk to me about your journeys individually, technically, in the podcast space. How tough was it?
I mean, all I use is a phone, fam.
Right.
That's it. Ain't no light, nothing. It's a flash. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just try to get the newest phone with the best camera and put the best settings I can on that phone, and whatever lighting I can get in whether I'm in a kitchen or a restaurant. And some restaurants I'm in hole in the wall sometimes. So I got to be like, hey, babe, shine your phone right there. You know what I mean? So that's what it is for me. So being here and having an actual setup, like, that's going to be different for me, so the struggle is just saying, hey, I need to be able to upgrade. But when you go on Amazon and you go on these websites and you're looking at how much these mics cost, if you want a professional mic, and how much a camera costs, if you want the best camera, I'm like, yeah, fam, I think we just gonna eat dinner with the phone, so yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you have a pretty cool setup. I've seen some of your stuff.
Yeah, so I have always loved videography and photography and all that stuff, but for me, it didn't pay the bills.
Yeah.
And it's very frustrating because technology is always, like you said, you just got the new phone. Now you got to get another new phone. You got to get the newest everything. But I tried to do a podcast thing at one point with my husband, and the setup was really beautiful, but then they put me in charge of all the editing, and I just don't have time. I just do not have time. I was trying to do AI to cut it up, and it was very frustrating. So now I'm like, Drew, I'm with a phone, and mostly I just want you to hear what I got to say. And I think that's the biggest. Know how to put captions. I tried. We fixed less.
We did it.
But yeah, it's always a struggle. I feel like when you're not a professional and you don't really know it, and it's very expensive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Robin E.
She got a book.
I know, she's lit. She got a book on podcasting.
I wish we could have had it right right now.
Yeah, it's a plug. Wait, put it up on the screen. There you go.
No, I mean, yeah. For me, I think it's just about being comfortable with somebody else doing technical stuff. I'm a one-man show. So I film, I edit, I check levels, I color grade if needed, I add effects. I'm just used to doing all of that by myself. So it feels good. This is great for me. I'm like ecstatic to know I don't have to edit and I don't have to check this and check that. Did we get this? Did we get that? When is it coming? When are we putting it out? It's beautiful. So I love True Conglomerate. It's great for me. You know what I'm saying? You know, obviously how it is doing that. So it's great for me.
And that's the piece, like when putting this together, that was one of the things that I knew, right? Robin does it all, you do it all. Seeing that there's benefits to that, and then there are drawbacks to that as well. And so one of the things that we talked about as a group is what's going to be our standard. And all of us are busy people. You're a business owner. We got jobs. We got families. But partnering with True Conglomerate allows us to put out this quality that you all see and consistently, and allows us to focus on other things. So now we can go out and because you book your own interviews, right? So you got to book your own interviews, schedule your own stuff, show up, get them to the studio. And so it's allowed us to differentiate roles so that we can continue to grow and expand. So shout out to True Conglomerate.
That's right. Just a little deeper into that, more so on the trusting factor of it. How, and I know I can speak to how tough it is for me to give it. This is the first time I've ever done this before. But talk to me a little bit about that individuality of Robin saying, I don't really trust you to do it like I would do it. Because I know that's how I think too. Yeah. Still doing True Conglomerate, I still have hold on a Crazy Riot show as well to say, well, I don't want that to be done. I'll do that part. Just talk to me about that a little bit. How that trust factor of handing it off is.
It's hard, definitely. But I'm happy that Brandon allowed me to create a separate segment aside from Pillow Talk. That way I am able to be more flexible with Aspire to Inspire. Okay, this is a new show. I'm open. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to new logos. I'm open to different things. So I don't feel, worried because my stuff isn't being touched in a sense. Now I get the chance to create something new. So.
Understood. That's dope. That's dope. Similar kind of.
Yeah. Ditto. Ditto.
These relationships don't happen overnight,
right?
Either, right? Like I think 4 years ago, we probably couldn't have done it.
No,
and so and I take that back because maybe we did, right?
Yeah,
it was we had my segment. What I've decided is I don't want to be doing the interviews, right? I want to give a platform to the creatives, and I know how hard it is when the listeners talk about, hey, I got a passion. But that passion, that thing that I'm really, really good at, it doesn't pay the bills. Yeah. And so what we want to do is provide the resources necessary for you all to do what it is that you're great at, and that's create, right? And the other benefit is I don't want our students to feel like they have to go to Atlanta, they have to move to LA, they have to go to New York in order to be successful in the media and art space. I think what Robin has been doing is freaking dope. Yeah. You know what I mean? With breaking local. And when I say local, I don't mean that, negatively, like young up-and-coming artists. And these are going to be the people that are on your XXL freshman classes. Yeah. These are going to be those that are coming up. And she's going to be able to say, I knew him when. She's going to have that interview with him. We was in the basement when. But I think for me, especially in my role with the school district, is that's something that I want our students, and I know that's the next evolution. How do we get our younger people? Because when we say Robin 30, we got to get some younger blood in here as well.
Facts only. When you're building an audience, which we all could attest to Drew spoke to him doing C&Js, and the response was well. How do you guys respond when it's not well? How do you respond when you do something
down,
and it's not numbers?
Go to my room, quit my job.
True.
Angry posts.
Keep chewing.
Just kidding. Just keep chewing.
Does it motivate you? I mean, does it initially motivate you, or is it kind of like, I'll get there one day type of thing?
It's kind of like you need to analyze it, right? So it's not a lack of motivation. It just motivates me to kind of see, okay, did I do something wrong? Was there something I could have done better that caused it? I was on a live yesterday, and we had one specific subject, and it was a quick subject. So the live was like 7-8 minutes, and they were like, well, we got off really fast. I said, because we got a nice number of people on here. We're talking about what they want to hear, but we don't have anything else to talk about. So why are we going to linger? Because if we linger, then you interest. And the next time you go live, those people are not going to be there, right? But I had to learn that. I had to learn that from doing an hour-long live about the same thing over and over, and it's spiking. And then all of a sudden, you got like 7 people. You're going up 7 to 10 people all of a sudden. And it's like, okay, let's just go ahead and get on with it. So now I'm like, you know what? Hit you with substance real quick. If I got a bunch of topics to talk about, we can stay on for an hour if we pop it. But if I don't have a lot, we gonna stop while it's good.
Nice. Robin, you have an actual journalist background, a doctor. You have a degree in this thing, and you actually write stories and these big things with different outlets. How well was the transition always to write first, or was it to be on camera first? How did you navigate that?
Writing actually was first.
Okay.
Writing was first for me. Before I even did any visual podcasting, everything was audio first, but I write still to this day everything out. Every episode, every question, every segue, I still write it out. So for me, podcasting was a way for me to get into the writing world where I could show them I am a journalist because this is what I've done. Now let me send you some of my writing. And it was an opportunity for me to kind of show myself. And then from that point, I could use that to give me other examples and get other slots. But writing has always been my passion. I was the kid that wrote like 10-page essays for the finals. I was always the last person done. Never had a problem doing. I did other people's papers for them. So I enjoy writing. To me, that's another big element in media that people kind of overlook.
Sure.
So I want to
Especially
have
now.
a power, in both realms.
Nice. And I think you'll be, in my opinion, I think you'll always outlast that because your passion is connected to something that's harder to do for the natural person. Because I know I don't, when I write, I'm sending it to AI. Go ahead and fix that for
Chat
me.
GPT.
Fix that for me. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So shout out to that.
That's awesome.
What do you, in 2024, it's a year of exposure. It's because everybody seems to be getting exposed in 2024. But
Like
good exposure.
So we got some skeletons. Because like I said, we watched this. I don't want to hear it.
I got a few. If you want.
I'm big bone. Skeleton.
Right. So what do you want to expose about yourself in a good way in 2024?
I'll go first. I cuss.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you know. We're gonna see a house together. I'm gonna
Cuss.
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, I am not your traditional real estate agent. So you might see me on this and be like, she must be one of the most professional. I am. I do good. I know my contracts. I know what to do. I know how to get you where you need to be. But don't expect, don't expect that. Don't expect selling sunset.
Yeah.
But just because when we were talking about the show and I was putting the structure together, I was having a conversation with someone and they said, well, describe a listen. And I said, not your mother's realtor.
That's right.
So I
That's
said,
right.
That's good. That's good.
That's
that
right.
helps.
But you could sell a house to my mama.
I would, and she would be very happy with my
Yeah, this is
service.
my mama. Yeah.
She'd be like, I didn't know we could do that.
Yeah.
I made 15,000 extra. What you mean?
Yeah, there you go. That's dope.
Y'all want me to answer?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Drew.
I mean, I try to be open book. I don't know if I got what kind of is good skeletons. Y'all want the scandals?
we got to go viral. We need this.
We gotta put this in the timeline.
Man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got a lot of group chats. We be frying mugs. That's about it.
Y'all gonna see Drew crack some jokes.
I told somebody that. I said, look, when I run for governor, y'all better delete all that.
Give somebody your access code.
Boy, don't make nobody mad.
Please, because I'm coming. I'm dropping everything. Robert, what are you exposing in 2024?
Exposing. I think in 2024, I just want to expose like imposters.
Okay.
As far as people who pretend to be something they're really not, want to be about something they're really not about. And I'm not trying to do it to single people out, but hard work and consistency will always prove itself.
Yes.
So I feel like this year, we see a lot of viral people that are doing one or two things. They're not going to be here in the summertime, but we will be here.
Okay.
I will be here. We will be here. So I think I just want to push that message this year for sure.
That's good. Because I think the age of social media has given gratification to those who don't grind.
Fact.
And the tough part about that is they define grinding and what they're doing. And they'll tell everybody I'm grinding. And that's okay until that grind actually becomes. It's like going on tour. I've been on a few tours where people say, I want to be a big artist, I want to be a big act. Until you go on tour. And it's probably the hardest thing to do as a creative. Imagine if we had to do this show for 30 cities in front of an audience, which most people now who want to do, because that's a thing, who want to do podcasts in front of a group. But imagine us being together for 25 days straight touring in the Midwest. That's not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? So.
She tried to choke me, but I don't have a name.
That might have been 30 days.
30 days.
She just wrapped her hand around my chin.
Me and Robert gonna be at it. What? I told you.
There's no way. There's no way.
But yeah, I think that's a big thing that doing this isn't, and like you said, when you have an entity like a true conglomerate that could to really give you foundation where you could just move however you want to move is very important. So that's key stuff.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You got anything here?
We got the I guess, rapid fire. We want them to get to know.
We finna find out. I guess you gotta answer fast. I
These
don't know.
questions.
Let's get it.
I don't do nothing fast but
Who
eat.
made
So
these questions?
let's go.
No.
Brandon? Oh, Lord. Okay, come on, Brandon.
These are just get to know you. Who is and you can point at them. I think that's what we'll do. You point at the person who's most likely to.
Okay.
So who is most likely to crack a joke during a serious podcast episode?
Let's see.
Y'all full of.
It's so easy.
And everybody pointing for Drew for those of y'all that's listening on the thing. Who is most likely to forget their microphone and headphones before a live session recording?
Oh, that's a hard one. We haven't been there yet. We haven't gotten to that
I
point.
don't know yet.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Still
If
newbies.
Who would you
I'm gonna
guess?
put my money on Robin. Wait, but you do podcasts. So I'm putting money on us.
Well, we got our first spat. It's about to go down.
reality show right now.
Out of love. It's out of love. It's out of
The
love.
testimony. I told her, what the hell she gonna put me out there like that for?
I'm exposing them right now. We're gonna start with Alyssa Pimentel.
This is a good one. So, who is most likely to get caught listening to their own podcast episode in their free time?
Carlos.
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
You're vain.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I don't even listen to myself, but that's tough.
You don't go back and listen to your podcast.
I just recently started doing it, but not.
Just recently, last year.
He'll share it. Everybody else know. Make sure everybody else got it.
Facts only.
Man.
Who's the most likely to have a secret talent or hobby that the listeners might be surprised to learn about? I say Alyssa.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're the one we
You
know
said
the
the four
least about.
cameras.
I like to be a little suspicious. I would say Carlos.
Sing or something.
Yeah, I would say Carlos. I
See,
don't
we
know.
know a lot
We can
about
see-
Carlos.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
But
you.
we don't know a lot
have
about
an
him
album.
yet.
Let's
Yeah.
keep it that way.
Jesus.
And then last one, who's most likely to organize impromptu meetup or event for the Lake County Media Group?
Probably Brandon.
Brandon.
Brandon, you.
The person in charge.
No
Yeah.
question.
Brandon.
I got some good stuff here. You guys ready?
Do it.
Okay, do it.
Who, and we'll go quick. Who's the most popular person in Lake County?
Like
Honestly.
out of these groups?
No,
the-
out of anybody you can name.
In Lake County?
Gary
Lake County.
Coleman. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
Gary Coleman. He was born in Zion.
he was.
Oh, from
Well,
different
he grew up in Zion, but okay, but that's not relevant to today because he passed. But you know, you didn't know that?
If you,
No, I'm
if,
saying I don't know who's the most.
so who's the most recognizable face
Carlos, you probably one of the most recognizable faces.
Yeah.
in all spheres? I don't think in all spheres. In all spheres, you're talking about politics,
hard question.
entertainment,
Well,
wherever they
nobody's gonna
go,
hit all
they're gonna go.
spheres, though.
Yeah, nobody
I
wants to
think
know that.
it's a few people.
Who would you say? You answer that question.
Rita Mayfield. Rita Mayfield can go to the club and go to the city council. Everybody gonna know Rita Mayfield.
Tri City, right? Because
That is
she can.
Tri-City.
Lake County, she done got grants for people
You
in
know
Libertyville and everything.
Wait, no, I was gonna say that guy.
But yes, I mean, love Rita. Shout out to her. She gonna be one of the first guests on
Yeah.
Inspire to Inspire. So tune in.
Yes.
But
Shout out to the
like
state
you
rep.
say, if you go into politics, right, I gotta say you got Brad Schneider, right? Because you got
Yeah.
somebody who my kids, they like that's a dude from YouTube because that man runs them commercials.
Yeah, he be,
That man runs.
Peter Francis Geraci.
Peter Francis. He from
Peter
Lake County?
Francis. I don't know.
Them commercials.
Over there in Gurnee.
He speaks Spanish now.
He does. Okay.
Well, let's invite him.
that's
He speaks
that's
Spanish now. He's smart.
Yeah.
Peter. I was gunning somebody. Was look at your Peter Francis.
And don't even know how he looked.
Don't know what the name
There's just
look
one
like.
head
The
Shop
name is just
1970.
synonymous with something.
Oh, who's it? No, Empire. No. See, I'm going crazy
Yeah,
now.
you lit. You
Yeah, I
lit.
don't know. Yeah, I would say Brad.
Like,
mostly,
overall.
like,
Okay.
people walked in.
Okay. Stretch.
Stretch.
Maybe
Stretch
Stretch.
is a name. Yeah.
I think Stretch can go.
But like Brandon said, I feel like this is very Tri-City. Like,
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Well, Stretch just because he's tall, so he
That's
walked
what
in.
I'm
People
saying.
immediately
Yeah.
they like.
Stretch has
But
been
he
a
done been through.
globetrotter.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
done did a lot. He done did a lot.
You know, so,
He's in the newspaper. You got to figure that stuff was big stuff.
Right.
yeah.
Like that, all that stuff was Western Lake
Stretch
County.
is on a video game film.
Well, we can't say Michael Jordan, even though he was a resident of
Yeah,
Lake County.
Michael
Yeah, well,
Michael
he might
Jordan
be the
was
most-
a
Michael
resident,
Jordan would
and
be
his
the
house
most
is still for sale.
No,
You trying to sell that one?
Sell it.
they still ain't sold.
Who's got 15
He
mil?
still ain't sold it.
No, you know those taxes.
Because he not moving. He ain't moving on the price either. He ain't moving.
Well, he done moved a couple times, so he didn't.
Well, he ain't moving on that price.
That's a good question though, because I'm thinking we should take a vote.
Carlos, you
Yeah, we take a
irritated.
poll. So we'll ask
Who
y'all.
do you believe?
Who do you believe is the most popular person in Lake County?
Who is that?
Well, like I said, I thought it was. I think it's Rita Mayfield Stretch, but Brad Snyder makes a great point because he's a congressman. So he's a big. But if you go to the hood, does the hood outweigh the fact that a lot of people, just hardworking blue collar people, know him versus like the neighborhood? Like if you go on the block, it's like just a white dude probably.
I think they know. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Because
because he be coming through the hood.
Can I be honest with you? I didn't know who Brett Schneider
you
was.
didn't know who he was.
They might even like, I know, dude.
I'm telling you, my kid, you too. They like, I
I
got to
don't
skip
know his
his
name, but I know, dude.
Hey, we know Buddy.
What other questions you got?
So when you think about 2023, we had a lot of moments in Lake County that happened. What's the biggest moment that comes to your mind when you talk about Lake County in general? And I want to fact check me really quick. Was the Highland Park shooter 2023 or 2022?
I think it's 2021.
I think.
2022. 2022. Yeah, that was tough.
Crazy.
That was tough.
That's a
And
very
it's still
sad.
going on, you know.
Yeah,
what
that
I
was
mean?
tough.
Yeah.
So I think that it's been a lot. I know personally it's not Lake County, but I think what we did for Juneteenth was dope.
That was big.
Absolutely.
You know,
That was big. That was big.
3-day event,
Lake County.
multi-city event. We had over thousands some people come out between the 3 days. Work together as best we could.
Yeah.
and we made it
We
happen.
got through it more than we didn't.
More than we did. So that was a dope moment
That's a
for me.
testimony.
But I don't know if that was big in Lake County.
Nice. What was the biggest biggest thing happened to you in 2023, like sale wise, interacting with a customer? What was that like?
Well, my team hit 33 million in sales.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. Thank y'all.
Boss.
Thank you.
Big boss,
I
listen.
bought a Corvette with it.
Nice. Do you still have like the house thing?
What house thing?
You bought like a thing.
I bought a thing.
Oh, your
Winnebago or something?
Your
Oh yeah, I bought a camper.
Yeah.
Because if anything pops off, I gotta go. It's a house on wheels. Listen, real estate takes money.
Next year she'll have a bunker.
Well,
I've been thinking about it because yeah.
just for inspiring real estate people that want to get into that field, how fast did it happen?
Not very well. For me, it was very different because I told myself I have to make it. So a lot of people get discouraged, like you were saying. Like people aren't really about it. They see it. They see the flashy stuff. Everybody wants to get in real estate.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to get in real estate because they're flashing the commissions on selling Sunset, not knowing that agent's probably only taking 25% of that home. So it's a big
When you
misconception.
say selling
on it.
Sunset, what is it?
It's a show. Like I don't know Brad Schneider. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's a show. It's a show. Brad is gonna
You don't
be
go
like,
to Frank's and the
you
same
know,
thing.
it's like a real estate show that people follow. That's all glitz and glam. I mean, real estate is everywhere. So, anyways, it took a long time. I started in 2017 and then I quit because it was hard.
Wow.
And then in 2019, I told myself I have to do this, and I just went full throttle. I didn't sleep. Your girl gained 40 pounds. It took a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
it took a
Exactly.
lot.
Yeah.
But it's very possible if you have the right mentorship, and it's very possible if you put in the time and you don't quit.
Nice. Brandon, you were my first political guest on the Crazy Ride show. And from there, everybody was, second to you in that space. How difficult was that job? Like, you wanted to do it, you ran for it, you got it. Then when you got it, was there ever a point where you was like, yo, I'm about to quit?
I think about quitting every meeting. It's not because it's hard. I tell anybody, the kids are dope. It's the adults. And so the one thing where you say, when I got elected, I was 25. The naivete is that I thought everybody would do the right thing because it was the right thing. I thought everybody would do what was in the best interest of the kids because it was in the best interest of kids. And unfortunately, what I've learned is that is not as easy as I thought it would be. Everybody doesn't have the same goals or motives, and quite frankly, everybody doesn't see the situation the same as I do. And I have to accept that too, is that there are other opinions, and you have to honor those other opinions. You have to understand and listen to them. So I wasn't planning on running for re-election, but we were in the middle of a pandemic. And I felt like it would be selfish for me to be like, all right, deuces.
I'll leave it all to you.
So I had a lot of people that encouraged me to run again. I decided to, and we'll see where it goes. But like I said, all the things that I do, Lake County Media Group included, is to support and give opportunity to our young people. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I know y'all did it with Legacy and Lamp, some of the other programs that are going on, and I really want to start seeing our students step up and take part in these places, because I don't want to be what we all hated. And that was that person that was in that position, in that role forever. Nah, I'm here. I'm gonna show you the blueprint, like, so you don't gotta bump your head. You don't have to do what Drew did. You don't have to do, like, let's talk about mentorship.
Bump your stomach.
I'm showing you the path. I'm making it a little bit easier for you so that you can do more.
If you take it.
Yeah.
If you follow.
If you take it.
Drew, you've had an interesting transition out of kind of secular space. You were there a lot, in clubs, in nightlife, and you kind of made, still there, but I think you're a little bit more conscious about separating your spiritual side to that. How difficult was that? And of course, you got married too. How difficult was that transition?
All them transitions are difficult, man, because you're changing from somebody that you've been for a long time, not knowing that some of the things you may have been doing, I'm not gonna say are wrong, but they could be detrimental to your life. You know what I'm saying? So you out kicking it, you're doing drugs, you chasing skirts, you drinking. I mean, and I'm not just talking about having an occasional drink. I'm talking about getting drunk, driving home out your mind. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, or just being single. You know, so going into the married mode, like going from the club and kind of where when I was going in the club, I was coming to turn up in the club. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you see me somewhere, it's more, I'm coming to support somebody real quick, or I'm just like, hey, you know what? Somebody got something that I can go to that I feel is safe. So we going to go there and we going to meet up and hang out and just have some conversation, rather than, or be an influence, right? Like right now, my big thing is just influencing people that you can change your life and be in some of these same environments and not be the same as the people in the environment. You know what I'm saying? You can be yourself. You can be an individual. You can be a light in dark places, right?
For sure.
Being married, that transition ain't no joke, because I be having to stay home now. You know what I'm saying? You know, my wife, shout out my wife, Glow. Listen, I got to stay in the crib though, but I like that. You know what I'm saying? We would call that back in the day the square life. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with the square life like that. Like I would tell my boy Wes always tell me, he say, bro, when I got married, man, I wanted all my guys to get married because he understood, right? So that's what I felt too. I'm like, man, you know, I'm married. This is one of the most beautiful things you can have, man, to have a wife to go home to have a wife to honor, but now here go the thing though. Now you got to make your single decisions
together
for somebody else or with somebody else in mind. So where I would just be like, Brandon called me, you call me, like, come out. Oh, we out there. Now I gotta be like, babe, do we have anything planned? And all
Anything on the calendar?
You know what I'm saying?
That's tough. That's a tough
That's
thing.
real tough when you used to just doing whatever you
I don't
want to
think
do.
being married, I don't think I could do that, but you.
It's a transition though.
Well, there you go. It took a while for you to do that.
But you're gonna find somebody that you want to do that for and with.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
That's what it
And
is.
this is, no, to switch topics, we might have to cut this out as a
No, separate excerpt. Yeah.
But the dopest thing that Tony Evans always talks about, and he uses an analogy. I know people don't like it, but you talk about a horse. So a horse, when you see a wild horse is beautiful. A wild horse is dope.
Free.
They can run, they can jump, they're free, right? But they have no purpose. Now, when you take that horse and you get that horse to submit, that doesn't mean that the horse is any less beautiful. Doesn't mean that it can't still jump as high. Can't mean that it doesn't mean that it doesn't run as far. However, now it has a purpose, right? It has something that it's doing. And so a lot of times I see marriage as that. I tell people, if I was single, I got married at 22.
Yeah.
There's no way I would be where I am and doing what I'm doing if I was not married at 22.
I think it brings discipline. Same the analogy with this, me having to be in something to confine me is a preparing for marriage or and not confinement in a bad way, confinement in the sense of you need this right now so that you can laser focus on that. Because to your point, that horse is being free, he's not focused on or not being able to be used in a way. So that's good. But Robin, you just want to speak on entrepreneurship before we go. You have been able to transition your career into money in a sense of being able to attach yourself to a very successful non-for-profit, but still be creative in your own right. Is being corporate with your ability, is that harder? Is it easier? How is that process of being able to attach your talent to a corporation or to a non-for-profit that's running at a high level? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, now it's way easier because I have the flexibility. They knew who I was before they hired me, so they're not compromising any of who I am outside of them.
Nice.
So if anything, it's an opportunity to practice more marketing, more promo, how I can convey a message in different ways and see if it's effective. So I love it. And I think it challenges me as well. It keeps me on my toes. It keeps me sharp. It lets me know what to say, how to say it, who to say it to. So I think it's great. I think it'll just help me evolve as I continue in my career to just be ready to take on more.
Nice.
Stability is a stabilizing force. And when you have, as many of us do, even with this, we are giving back to community. None of us are getting rich on this. None of y'all are paid to do these platforms, to do these podcasts. We're doing it because we really do believe that it's a benefit to the community. You got your own thing. Robin has her own thing. Drew has his own thing. Alyssa has her own thing. I have my own thing. And having that stability allows us to then be creative, right? Because if I ain't got to worry about where my next meal coming, I can do it, right? And so I think that's something that we have a society that everybody has to be a boss. Everybody has to be a hustler. Everybody has to be an entrepreneur. Sometimes out of necessity, you had to go that route, right? But other times I think it's cool to say, how can I keep a corporate thing while I also explore this art? How do I pay the bills but still be able to express myself? So that's
being a servant is very important.
It's good.
Servitude is very important. You can't lead if you never serve.
Thanks. It keeps taking me back to the horse analogy. It's really good.
Listen, I've been reading the Bible.
Tony Evans, I'm telling y'all, that man is good.
Who is Tony Evans?
The guy who said something great
He's a cold
about a
dude.
horse.
Yeah, because I always think about horses. I think about hair weave.
I think about Spirit. Cartoon.
Speaking of all these things, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Lake County Media Group, the Crazy Ride Show. Again, I hope today you learned something about us all, got some experience from us all, got a little bit about each ingredient what makes this gumbo so great. It's the Crazy Ride Show, Lake County Media Group. It's the Boilo's Crazy. If you knew better, you'd do better. I need 2 sweaters. It's the gang. That's great there, yeah.
There we go.
It's Crazy Ride Show. Need some continuity there. There we go.
Cut.
We rolling. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.